Hello, welcome to the Sunnydale Diaries, a podcast where I, Sean,
And I'm Melanie.
watch and discuss every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and how the themes of those episodes impact our lives. Today we are going to be discussing season 4, episode 5, Beer Bad,
You're bad.
and we have a guest. We have Tony with us from Up the Buff Pod.
Hey,
Tony, welcome.
Our first
thank you.
crossover. It's very
I know it's so
exciting.
exciting.
And we're actually crossing oceans, so
Hey, yes.
I know.
I'm happy about that. From Ireland, thank you. So, Tony, how did you get into Buffy? What is your Buffy story?
My Buffy story is, well, I actually was a huge fan of the movie when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, it must have come out, I think maybe when I was like 6 or 7. And I loved it. So when I heard they were doing a TV show, I was so devastated that it wasn't the same actress. I was like, oh no, this will never be good. I'll never love it. And then I remember I just watched like the first 2 episodes. We got it about a year later than America. It was still at the time where like TV shows came out like way, way later for us. And I just absolutely loved it. It was, yeah, I just fell in love. And I think I was in P6, which is when you're 10. I'm not sure what grade that is in America, but yeah, I was 10.
It's all the same. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I just fell in love with it, and then I'd be running around school all, like pretending to stake people and and just living that life. And I've just loved it like ever since. I grew up with it, and it's been my show that I can just go back to repeatedly. Like on our show, we're on season 2, and I keep making the mistake of when I watch our season 2 episode, I keep watching right through to the end of season 2 because it's just so good.
Yeah,
Have
it is a good.
have you gone back and rewatched the movie since then?
Yes,
And how does that hold up for you now that you've watched the TV version?
I still love it, and I think it's maybe because I'm a very like nostalgic person, and I have a lot of like emotions and feelings like associated with media, like where I was at the time. I've got
Right.
a really kind of like good memory that way.
Hmm.
I think it's hilarious. I love it, and I love seeing little callbacks like to it in other things as well. Like I don't know if you guys watch What We Do in the Shadows.
Hmm.
When they had like the Council of Vampires
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Paul Rubin was in it. So I was
Yes.
just like, I love like that it's had an impact on like on bigger culture as well.
Hmm. Hmm. I think probably 7 years old is a perfect time to see that Buffy movie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's good. Um,
yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your podcast.
So, sorry, excuse me. So our podcast we're actually quite similar to you guys. One of us is like a Buffy aficionado, and the other one is a relative newbie. And I've been kind of annoying David like my whole life, like talking about Buffy or getting him. I used to stay in his house every Friday night because he had cable, and I would be able to watch Buffy on there because when the UK finally got cable, we were getting the episodes at the same time. So I used to just stay over in his and watch it and talk about it. And I lived kind of far away from like a lot of kids in my school, so Buffy stuff was all like I ever did. So last year I went home for a friend's wedding, and I'd been having kind of some struggles, and we had just decided that we wanted to really, be better friends to each other, and part of that came through talking about should we do a podcast like somewhere where we can get together like once a week and just talk about random stuff. And people have always said like, oh, your chemistry together is like, you are so funny, or because we're very like we bite at each other. It's like our typical kind of Irish humor.
Yeah.
And we started doing our podcast, and it just, I never imagined that would be like 27 episodes like down the line. No, it's just happened so fast. Like we've been doing it for like 6 months, and the response has been really, really nice. And for me, it's like as a Buffy lover, like I love reaching out to other Buffy podcasts and listening to them because I love it. I love hearing everyone else's commentary, and like a pretty friendly zone to get into with other
Sure.
Buffy fans, which I just it's been really, really like therapy for me right at a time when I needed it.
I was
Yeah.
recently thinking about that, like crossing over, to other Buffy podcasts. And wouldn't it be great if at some point we could get together, like one massive, episode where we're all
Yeah,
on together, or we have a meetup or something and do a discussion? I think that would be so much fun.
Yes.
yeah, that's something I would absolutely love
Yeah.
to do. So we probably need to wait for like the youngest one. I think there's still a couple that are still like younger than
Mhm.
ours as well, and then maybe on Chosen we should all get
Oh, yeah.
together
That would be so much fun.
because actually at the start of our season, David was taking a bit of a mental health break, so I had different guests every week. And we were talking about doing like a Real Housewives style reunion at the end of
Oh,
season 2, where we'll we'll all be like all together, just talking
yeah,
about the
yeah.
last episode.
That would be fun. Yeah. Yeah,
It'd
I
be
think we
fun.
found the same thing, that everybody is very welcoming, and they don't and this fandom doesn't seem to get tired of hearing people talk about this show. But I
Yeah,
think a lot of people like you and Sean have that emotional connection from your first watch, and so
Yeah.
it's like so deeply rooted.
yeah,
Now, your co-host, David, right?
yep.
Is he liking it? Is
Ye-
is he cynical? What does he think of it?
He he's a mixed bag because sometimes he can he started off cynical when all he had to really rely on was like the effects and the story, and then as he grew to love the characters, he doesn't care as much about seeing the stunt doubles or that the effects are a little bit janky, and now he's at the point where we just our episode for Innocence just came out today, and he said it's his favorite episode yet. Like he's and this is obviously it is a turning point for Buffy, especially Innocence. So I feel like from here on out, he's just gonna be like he's gonna die. I can't wait until we get to the end of season 2 because I just think I'm hoping he's gonna cry. That's what I'm really
Oh,
hoping for.
I remember telling Melanie, like, as we got through season 1, like, we just need to get to season
yeah.
2, and then we got to season 2. It was like, you just got to get like halfway through season 2, and it really does
Yeah.
change at this point.
It was touch and go for a while.
Sometimes that makes it better though, because I think and watching some of your earlier episodes as well, like seeing the kind of the clash, as people would call it, where it's just like you just don't connect on the same story beats, and a lot of it has to do with I think nostalgia and how
Mhm.
you remember it, like
Yeah.
growing up. So it's that those have made the better episodes for us. Like even though I don't like initially when I started editing, I was like, okay, if he keeps talking about this negative point, I'm gonna like edit because I edited art as well. So I'm like, because trying to create like a balance. But we've found in the episodes that we thought were like ridiculous or stupid that they end up being like our 5 hour long episodes that I have to edit down. Like,
Oh my gosh. Are you exaggerating?
no, I'm being serious. But we talk a lot about like we're both like undiagnosed ADHD, so we go on massive tangents and start talking about our lives. That's why we actually recently launched our midweek mini podcast called All Bronze No Brains, where we can just put in all the shite that we edit out.
That's
Oh,
great.
sorry, I don't know if shite is a bad word or if I should
That's
not
fine.
No, it's
swear.
fine.
Okay.
Go for it. It's fine. So this episode, very focused on beer and alcohol. Um, for question for both of you, what was your first like real drinking experience, and not like a sip of champagne at like 8 years old or something from your parents, but like when was your first? I got drunk.
Go, Tony.
Okay, I remember this because we just talked about this on our podcast as
Oh,
well, actually. Like I said, when I would stay at David's house every Friday night, I like we would just it was just normally accepted that like Irish parents like if you let your kids kind of drink, then they're not going to go like pure off the rails. And we weren't like drinking like on the street corner. We were like in the house with like adults. But I just remember we went to this place called the TA Club, and it's like an army reserves kind of on a base like kind of bar
mm.
thing. And I just remember drinking so much Tennant, which is like a Scottish kind of cheap beer.
Okay.
And I just remember being so drunk and being like, oh, all the trees are like moving. And we were maybe like 13 or 14, maybe even 12 actually. But it was just, it was a real like kind of innocent type of drunk because we were just like kids drinking for the first time and not in like a, no, this is the Irish part of me that's justifying it. So not in like a real like in a real dangerous way, but we would go, you know, like it would be like a disco and we'd be like, you know, dancing and it'd be like the Grease Mega Mix and all of those kind of things. And so it was a kind of harmless type of getting
Yeah.
drunk. And I think that's where I get my kind of my alcohol tolerance level from, which is which is good.
Yeah. I think mine was I started late. I'm gonna say I was probably 16 or 17 the first time I really got drunk. And I can tell you I was at a party at my friend Dan's house and I was drinking Bartles and James wine coolers. Yeah,
Oh.
so that tells you where I am in the age spectrum. And I just remember it was so much fun. I was having a great time. I was laughing, just slapping those things back. And then on our ride home, it was bad. I knew, like my head was out the window, enjoying it, and then it was not good. And that was also so that was the first time I got really drunk. That was the first time I got really sick. I remember my mom came into the bathroom and she was helping me and she's like, "This is it. This is the first and last time I'm going to be supportive like this from now on." I was like, "I'm never doing this again." Famous last words.
For
Sean?
me, yep, I was at my friend's dorm in college again, late. I feel like first like full like drunk experience. I was 19. Heineken's,
Oof.
the Heineken beer, and I mean, Melanie, I'm somewhat of a lightweight, and I think I had four.
Yeah.
So four for my first time drinking. It was, I mean, it was a mess. She had invited over this guy that I was kind of interested in. And I was just like not all over him physically, but like not jumping on him or anything. But they were hands, and I was very touchy feely, and it was
I love you, man.
yeah, a lot of that. Um, but yeah, the next day wasn't as bad as you, Melanie, but it was pretty bad.
And so did you learn your lesson?
Quite well.
No.
Well, I mean, I don't. Maybe for like 2 weeks.
And then I think the last time I was probably that bad was it was years ago when I first started dating my husband. And we went out and we got bottle service. I don't know if you have that where you are, Tony. It was you go to certain clubs and they if you want the VIP seating, you have to pay them to buy a bottle. So we bought a
Oh
bottle a
yeah.
bottle of Jameson, which normally would cost, what, 25, $30, $200, and so we got the VIP seating. Nobody else was drinking, and we were like, we paid $200 for this bottle of Jameson, so the two of us split that bottle of Jameson. And
Yeah.
again, it was great in the moment. We had a great time, and it was quite a bonding experience for us right at the beginning of our relationship because the next day we were just
Oh
bedridden.
gosh.
I think we were so when that was like in my 40s. Whew, that
Yeah,
was a while ago.
I
yeah.
think my last really bad drunk experience was it was at Christmas time and I had just finished recording the podcast with Girth Brooks. And my friend Molly FaceTimed me from America, and I'd had like a drink on the podcast. So then we were just like FaceTiming and drinking, and then I don't remember anything except I woke up the next day like in my bathroom, and I was like covered in vomit.
Oh no.
And I had been drinking bourbon, like just like bourbon and apple juice. So it was just after that, I was like never. I
Never,
said never
really.
again.
This time I mean it.
And then
Never
I'm like,
again.
The line.
It's
Yeah.
probably good you don't remember that.
I was glad. Like I'm just getting to that age in life where it's like nothing bounces back the same. Like skin doesn't bounce back the same. Stomach doesn't. I'm just like I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm like a withered old man now.
Yeah.
You know?
in November, there is a little dive bar like around the corner from our house. Like my husband and I can walk there, which I mean, that's good because then we don't have to worry about driving. But
Right.
we had gone, and a friend of ours was there, and she introduced these two other people to me, and I was just talking to them, and they just kept buying me a drink every time that I finished. And I was drinking tequila soda, and for me, the bad thing when I'm drinking is once I start, I'm not paying attention, and if it's in front of me, I'm just going to drink it. So there were probably 8
Ooh.
tequila sodas that
Ooh.
night, and that was Friday, and Saturday was bad. It was like one of those hangovers where you get up and you think you feel okay, took a shower, and then as the day went on, it was just worse and worse and worse. Like,
Mm.
yeah, I went back to bed. I don't think I got back out until 5.
Oh.
So pretty much spent the whole day in bed. And
And
other than that, so that was November. Other than like maybe 2 or 3 drinks I had when I went to go visit Melanie during the holidays, I haven't had
Yeah.
anything since.
I think
Now, I'm not saying like I've given up alcohol the rest of my life, but
yeah.
giving myself a little break,
Yeah.
a little
yeah,
pause.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't do
it,
it,
yeah.
it
I
kids.
only
was
drink I only drink these kind of like little fruity drinks,
Yeah.
that are like it's pretty much a soda with like a small
A small
alcohol
amount.
content
Hmm.
in it. Because I know if I have a real drink, like it's just I'm the type of person that if I open a bag of chips, I eat the whole bag of chips. So it's like if I open one of and I during COVID I started every time I went to the supermarket I would buy a bottle of alcohol because I wanted to build up having a bar.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So now I've got like a full bar, so I can't ever justify going out to drink because of the prices.
Hmm.
So,
Mhm.
but because I stopped drinking for like 4 years, and not because I had a problem, but I started dating someone who didn't drink. So then there was like I, it it felt wrong to drink by myself really. Um, but yeah, if I open a bottle, not like oh I need to finish it, like I have to have it, but it's just the way my mind works. I'm like okay, well I'll make another wee one,
Yeah.
and it's because I don't my tolerance doesn't go like that. It's like
Oh yeah.
it'll so it's like I don't really know where the tipping point is because I'll wake up after it happens.
We call
It's
that
funny.
tipping point the fulcrum. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
When Sean's drinking, that's when we know we're headed to
because
dark
it's slow
territory.
and then
Yep.
yeah.
It's all good till it's not.
Yeah, and then things can get messy.
Yeah.
Would you say that when you are drinking, are you a happy drunk? Do you get chatty? Do you get sleepy? Do you get angry?
It depends on the drink. When I was married, white wine used to turn me into absolute raging psycho. Or that's what I was told. I don't know if it really was
Yeah.
the white wine or the gaslighting. So so I'm not too sure. But I'm pretty like a. It just makes my personality bigger. So I would be very exactly the same, but maybe just louder and a bit crazier. So I'd say kind of like a happy kind of drunk. But then if someone starts a deep conversation with me, then we'll be talking about the universe and
Wow.
feeling connected to the stars and all of that. And
Yeah.
I can maintain those conversations too. So it depends on. I'm a bit of a mirror. I will kind of like I guess reflect the energy that's brought kind of towards me.
Mhm.
That's why in our podcast we really don't want David to like have grumpy days because then I end up being really grumpy as well.
Oh. What would you say you're like, Sean? I think I want to hear your idea of what you are, and then I'm going to tell you how I perceive you when you're like that.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I'm happy. When I was younger, I would be happy, and then like post fulcrum, sleepy.
Oh,
Like it'd be happy, and then like if we had people over, I would just disappear into the bedroom,
yeah. Mhm.
which would piss off my husband,
Yeah.
rightfully so.
Yeah.
But I would say I'm happy. Now I want to hear what you have to say,
I
Melanie.
I think you're like mellow. You get mellow, and
Yeah,
you do get silly though.
yeah. Silly is a good
Yeah,
word
yeah,
for
yeah.
it.
You're silly for sure.
Yeah.
You're fun to be around when you're inebriated. I would say
Well,
I
only when I'm drinking though, and otherwise no.
In my earlier days, I would think also like you, Tony, my personality would get a little bigger because I was in clubs more, and so I would be more outgoing, of course, and because I'm
Yeah.
not like that, but I'd be more outgoing and a little louder. I think now I'm silly like Sean, and I do get sleepy though very easily. I think that's probably my age. What do you think, Sean?
I, yeah, yeah. Although it's fun getting, the drunk texts from you,
We're both
which
drunk
is
texters.
Yeah,
something
I'm the same.
Yeah.
that I have a bad habit. I don't really use like Facebook Messenger much, but if I've been drinking, I open that up and just finding random people from high school and just start saying
Yeah,
that I
that's what
haven't
you
spoken
do.
to in
Yes.
20 years. And
I
just start
I
sending.
just text you. You are texting people you haven't talked to in 30 years.
That's why in my phone there's a bunch of people like in their contacts there's a Z in front of their name, so they fall to the bottom of the list like work people, so that I don't drunk
Yeah,
text
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
That's smart.
Have you ever had an embarrassing thing like that where you've texted someone and then the next day you're like,
Far too,
"Oh my gosh."
far too many
Really?
to count. Especially being like a well, at the time, a younger gay guy when the apps and stuff would have come out, and being single and ready to mingle.
Yeah.
First, so there's lots of really embarrassing messages that you can never come back
Oh my god.
from.
Oh my gosh. I'm glad. Yeah.
That's the honest answer.
Thankfully, I only sent stuff to you, Sean. The next morning, I'm like, wow, I sent him like 30 reels last night.
After you're saying you're going to bed.
Yeah, yeah, I'm going to bed now. You want to get into this
uh,
episode, Shawnee?
yeah, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Season 4, episode 5, beer bed. I have to say, going in, I was not looking forward to this episode, and it's been a while since I've seen it, and my mind is completely changed.
Oh
I
yeah,
like this one.
yeah.
Yeah, it grew
I
on me.
will say my prediction was pretty spot on.
Yeah, it
Hey,
was.
I
was you
know.
got it?
And once
You were
again, great
good.
poker face, Shawnee.
So hard, so hard. Ugh. All right, so we start out with a previously on,
And
and previously on, Parker's an asshole. Still,
again, another reminder, as if we need reminding.
I forgot how long this Parker episode arc is.
Yeah,
I
I
does
thought
it
it
go
was
on
like
longer?
two.
It must. I mean,
I can't tell
was
you.
that? Well, I keep thinking because they keep dwelling on it, and I guess that's her arc too. She keeps dwelling on it, but I'm like, man, this must he must have more. Something else must happen, or is he just gonna kind of simmer throughout?
We'll have to wait and
I
see.
guess we'll have to wait and see. All right, you're not telling me anything. All right,
Um, Xander's a townie,
unemployed townie,
yeah.
and
and
and Oz bumped into some girl,
yeah.
but we don't know.
Ooh.
yep. I hate her.
Uh, Buffy is at the cemetery. Vampires attacking her.
Hmm.
Uh, Parker is there, and it is a very action-packed fight scene. The music reminded me of like a video game, like Mortal Kombat. That's
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
it like Mortal Kombat and Prodigy. That's what it
Wow.
felt
What an album that would
like.
be.
yeah. Like
And she's
German techno kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
vibe.
Um,
and
when the fight is over, he says all the things to her that she wants to hear. He just pours it out to her. Thank you for saving my life, and you forgive me? And I was so wrong. And in my head, I'm going, wow, no, this can't be real. They're gonna pull a Buffy twist here, and of course they do. She's just daydreaming in class. And man, so Parker is a couple rows down and he's like hitting on yet another girl. He's made it through half of the freshman class at this point.
whew, yeah,
How is word about this guy not gotten around?
you know, I think some. This is gonna sound bad. Maybe some people actually like want to be with him because they've heard he gets around.
Maybe.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
more
because
thinking there's like a support group somewhere on
I
campus.
yeah, there should be a Parker support group. But yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Like about there, I think because I watched this when I was so young, I watch it through the eyes of Buffy being hurt, and not necessarily as an adult who maybe has more autonomy over my sex life. You know, so there maybe were a lot of girls that were quite happy. I mean, he is good. He is good looking.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He is.
He's like a poor man's Matt Bomer.
He is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got his speech down, man. He's got his patter honed to a T. Now, okay, so let me ask you guys this. Do you think that there is such a thing as just strings free, no emotions, casual, just have fun, casual sex? In college,
Yes.
you do.
Uh, and not that I agree with Parker, but he mentioned this later on in the episode. If it's established up front,
Which
you
pissed
know,
me off because he did not establish it up front.
no, he
But
didn't. He didn't.
okay,
Yep.
if yeah, maybe if it's established up front, both people are clear, maybe.
And it's hard to do that without it, and it still be sexy.
Yeah, right. You're gonna have a whole negotiating session before, and yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
That's why I can't really like that doesn't exist for me because of me because I know the way I am
Mhm.
because I'm too emotional and I have pretended to be fine and then done a Buffy for like for months.
Same,
Yeah.
same. Yep.
Yeah.
Um. So they are while this is happening, they're in that tough professor's class, this
Yeah.
psychology, right?
Professor Walsh. Yeah.
Professor Walsh, and she's talking all about Freudian psychology, the id, the ego, super ego, and this is all about what do we want and how the id just wants,
Mhm.
which is where Buffy is, right? What she wants Parker.
Yeah.
Why can't she have him?
And then she replays the fight scene again, and now this time he has flowers, and ice cream. Some I quickly zoomed into the label. It was like fake Haagen Dazs ice cream.
Yeah.
It was Hoogan does.
Uh, and then we switch to we get credits on.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh, and go to the school courtyard, and Buffy and Willow are there. As Xander walks up, he got a job.
He's got a job and a lighter.
Yep.
Yeah. At the college pub.
And they're like, are you even old enough to work at the bar? And he shows them this horrible fake ID.
So bad.
Yeah, I guess
It
it
was a
doesn't
quick
matter. There's no background checks in Sunnydale. They're like, yeah, sure.
you
Yeah.
want a job, sir.
You're not a
About
worm
4 minutes.
monster. Okay, you can retain your human form for a shift. You're
He had
hired.
his rag and the lighter. He was just ready to go. It's cute. It was a really quick line, but Willow said something about like, aren't you too young to work there? And he's like, au contraire, mon frere.
Yes.
And just said it kind of deadpan. Frere means brother.
Which I like zoomed in on that line too because I always remember Buffy having a hard time with French when she was studying in Sunnydale High School.
Oh, she remembered that one part.
One word.
Willow was always trying to help
Everybody
her.
gleans one word from French class. Success.
Yeah.
Buffy comes in. Oh no! So then they're let's see. Then they're they're at the pub in the next scene.
Before
Oh
that, though, so Buffy's still pining after Parker.
yes,
Willow isn't having it, and
no.
Xander's like best line of the episode: "Nothing can defeat the penis."
And he says that so straight, like it's in such a different type of voice. It's just, it almost feels like it's not really his voice or something. But it's that really did make me laugh out loud.
And then the look
That
they
line
give
there
him,
was
and he's like, "Oh,
yeah.
never mind." I know Willow is certainly her conscience speaks her conscience for Buffy this season so far. Trying to
Mhm.
keep Buffy in check and giving her the voice of reason.
which I'm
Yeah.
glad because Buffy's really in a dark
A
place right
full-time
now.
job for Willow. Yeah, she really is having a hard time with this.
Yeah. Then we go to the
Then
bar.
we're at the pub.
Yep.
And I said, it's a good thing he's seen Cocktail, which he said in the last scene, because he is doing exactly the same scene as Tom Cruise's first day at TGIF in Cocktail. It's the same exact thing with all the people in his face shouting the names of the drinks. There's this scene, and then there's another callback to something else in this episode. I was like, ooh, they're really paying homage to some other things here.
Yeah, I would not be a good bartender. I'll tell you that.
No, me either. My
Yeah,
short-term memory would definitely prohibit me from doing that job.
too much going
I
on.
like I like making drinks, but I don't know if I could deal with people. I say I like making drinks
Just stop
when they're
that
all the
sentence
same
right
drink.
there.
Yeah,
I could not deal with people.
yeah,
Yeah. And Buffy comes in, and immediately we see Parker with girl number, 5 in this episode.
17.
Oh my gosh. And she literally bumps into Riley, the TA, who I predict something is going to happen between the two of them. I think I mentioned it before, but it's got to. I mean, why else is they've had a couple literal run-ins now, and definitely that's note it down, Sean. Prediction.
Got it.
All right,
Yeah, recording.
thank you. At the bar, Xander is trying to chat up some sorority girl. Oh, and this was the other callback. Then the smarmy guy from Good Will Hunting comes up and starts trying to embarrass him, just like the guy in Good Will Hunting embarrasses Ben Affleck. Like with the
Yeah.
exact same approach and speech almost.
The sorority girl, she was the one with the bangs, right?
Oh, horrible bangs.
Because
oh
I said
yeah.
it to both of you last night when it came on. I was like, oh man, that's
Horrible.
like worse than Buffy's bangs in a
I
men's
Horrible.
thing.
know. I made a note of that as well when Sandra says rough day and that she should have said yes because I got these bangs cut.
Oh, bad. Buffy is sitting at the bar looking really morose. And I thought, oh, she's finally starting to see him, Parker, for what he is. And maybe now she'll, can work through it. But she's still feeling really down on herself, which she kind of has since episode 1, season 1, right? She's kind of this outcast who is having self-esteem issues just all the way through, which is crazy because she's just a gorgeous girl and, good head on her shoulders, and she's the Slayer, for goodness sake.
Self doubt.
Really,
It sucks.
it's
Yeah.
everybody. She walks away from the bar and she bumps into some guy, frat guy, and all of a sudden there's 5 frat guys. They just multiply like gnats. And,
Yeah.
and one of them is Cal Penn, which is crazy. This had to be one of his very first roles, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And they offer her a beer, and she accepts. Thus begins the very special episode
Yeah.
of Buffy.
We did find out that the beer was called Black Frost.
Yep. So it's going to be evil.
Yep.
At the Bronze, Oz and Willow are, at their usual table just chatting, and all of a sudden something's off. Oz senses something, is what I wrote. Then the band starts, and it's a female singer, the same girl that he had passed on campus, and Oz was transfixed.
He's
Yeah.
mesmerized by
And
this horrible band singer.
the look on Willow's face, like she is not happy. She knows something's up.
You know, even when he's like, no, everything's fine. It's not fine.
I think it's such a subtle, like David was saying this on our podcast. He's just been introduced to Oz. Like Oz says so little, but his actions come across so much, and I think that's why, even though he's not doing much in this scene other than being distracted, the fact that he's distracted from Willow seems like such a
Yes.
huge thing, and just really well play. It must be brilliant to be that kind of actor that doesn't really have to do much for that to come across. But I
Mm-hmm.
remember watching this scene thinking like that feels so out of character
Mm-hmm.
for him.
Yeah. Agree.
Back at the pub, Buffy is chugging, so not bad for her first. What I'm assuming is her first beer.
Oh, and nobody who drinks beer has their first beer and enjoys it that much. I'm
That is
taking a hard
true.
stand on that.
That yes, beer is one of those things that I think is like coffee. It is water with a smell of in it, like,
Yes.
and that's like I had to train because I was very sensitive about being, a sissy or what my dad or older men would have called me when I was younger. I trained myself to drink beer to like it, just so that I would be able to drink a beer to kind of to pass, so to speak.
I'm imagining like a Rocky style training montage.
Montage. Yeah, it's just me at 12, like drinking all these
Yeah,
beer
yeah,
cans
yeah,
and going
yeah,
out with
yeah.
you.
And
It
trying
literally
not to
was that
cringe.
me.
Like every time you cringe just a little less. But
That was exactly it.
there's no way an 18-year-old college girl is gonna drink a beer, like straight down and then go, I want another one.
Yeah,
No.
but maybe because it's the magical
It's the magical
part.
beer. Yes,
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, and also she is the Slayer.
That is true.
yeah. Oh yeah, her metabolism's probably a lot faster.
Yeah, maybe.
I've never really been a beer guy. Like I won't be if I'm going to drink, it won't be my go-to. And I get a craving once in a while, and like there are a lot of good local breweries by me. But yeah, I would always go for a liquor over
Mm-hmm,
beer.
mm-hmm. The next day at the dorm, Willow is telling Buffy about what happened, but poor Buffy is just hungover, at 18 or 19-year-olds hangover where she's just like, yeah, I don't feel so good.
I like the TV.
Yeah, TV good. And then she
Willow
says, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Willow's description of Veruca dresses like Faith, voiced like an
Like an
albatross.
albatross.
Yes.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Yep. And the little back and forth where Buffy says, I'm suffering at the afterness of a bad night of badness.
I
What?
love that, and Willow's response when she says with four guys, and she's like, "Oh, ow." I thought that was I just. But the thing I loved about that the most was that Willow was just instantly supportive, as if Buffy had went and had that group sex. Willow's
Right.
just like,
Right. Right.
like,
She
are you
Yeah.
okay?
She's not judgmental about it. She's a good friend.
Yeah,
She really
She's a
is.
good friend.
As long as you're okay now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then we're back in psych class, and now they're discussing personality types and disorders. Blah blah blah. Um, the real issue in the scene: Buffy raises her hand to say something really stupid, and then steals that girl's sandwich.
Mid bite.
Just she doesn't seem to have a problem with that, and Willow's like,
yeah,
"What? Something is
Uh,
amiss."
yeah.
yeah.
Did that trigger you at that point that hey something's off with Buffy?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
I figured.
I don't think I would have said a Cro-Magnon at that point, but
Yeah,
um,
We
yeah.
cut to a lab with multiple boiling, multicolored
You
fluids.
have something to say about that?
No,
The
just
mini,
that
the mini
I
chem lab.
enjoyed the setup.
Okay.
All the colors and the tubing, and it was
yeah.
good. We get some eerie music, and then we see that it eventually like distills down into the Black Frost beer.
Mhm. Mhm. The beer is bad. No one drink the beer. Now the frat guys are drinking again with Buffy, and their conversation this time seems dumber, like a lot dumber.
Lots of monosyllabic words.
Yeah, yeah. And Xander's kind of just watching this happen from his perch at the bar. We still don't know really what's going on. So now we're back at the dorm,
Mhm.
and Oz is all excited and telling Willow Veruca's band. Veruca is such a early 2000s name, Veruca. The name of the band
That's
is Shy.
such an awful name.
It's an awful
Yeah,
name.
I
yeah.
mean, Veruca, is that the bout you get like on your? It's like a blister on your foot, yeah.
Could be.
Oh,
You better go get that
that's
Veruca
what a
checked.
that's what
Is
a
that?
Veruca is like here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, for real it is?
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
It's like a kind of like a blister that you get in your foot.
Oh.
That's why I was like, it's such an awful name,
Wow,
Veruca.
that does not cross over very well. For us it's a Willy Wonka Veruca salt.
Nice.
Oh, yep.
Oh, yeah, okay. So the band is playing tonight and they want Oz to sit in. How great for Oz. Not great for
Wonderful.
Willow. She's not gonna go. Yeah, definitely there's some tension there. I mean, I know through pop culture that eventually they're not together because there's a whole Willow is a lesbian line at some point. So, but I'm not ready for them to break up yet. They need a little more
Yeah.
happy time.
Do you remember what Seth Green told you when you met him
No, what did he say?
about his character?
What I said, you're getting broken or you're getting cheated on, and I don't like it. Oh, he said he's gonna break my heart. Oh no! Oh, is this where he breaks my heart? Oh no!
I'm not telling you that.
Oh
I'm just telling
no!
you.
Oh no!
Remember what he said.
Okay. Um, back to the pub, and I said back to the pub and the decline of Western civilization. And
Uh,
Xander escorts Buffy out, and the smarmy guy says, "Hey, where'd girl go?" This is where I was like, "All right, we're getting into caveman territory here."
yeah, yeah. This is when it started becoming
Yeah,
obvious. At a random college building, because it wasn't like the cafeteria, which had a name that you mentioned, I think, last
the
episode,
canteen.
Melanie.
It's not at
Yeah,
the
it wasn't there.
canteen. It's not the
It was just like,
Bronx.
no, that's not the
Not the
Bronx. It
No,
Bronx.
was somewhere on
I lo-
campus.
I love this little building. That was one of the things I noticed watching it specifically to talk to you guys. I just felt like, oh, that wee building. I called it like a campus cafe maybe because that's kind of what it looked like. But it was so cute. It just really reminded me of like my own when I went to university for like the 6 weeks I was there.
Yeah,
There were there was one really similar. So it was really nice watching this again
yeah,
and see. I felt this is not an episode that I felt like would make me feel nostalgic or like give me enjoyment really. But I think I'm maybe on the same page as you, Sean, where it was like I because I went in with an open mind, I ended up absolutely almost like loving every bit of this episode.
yeah,
Yeah, I was really happy with this one. But yeah, we had a new student union and an old student union on campus, and it was like lounge areas. But yeah, that's immediately it felt like the old student union that was kind of falling apart.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just a place that everybody goes.
Hmm.
And she sees Parker there. She wants to go give him a piece of her mind, and she does. And I love these episodes where Willow gets to really speak up and
Yes.
say her piece. For a person who seems so timid in a lot of her life, and quiet, she is able to step up sometimes and really, be eloquent and speak up. And
yeah.
I love that about her.
I
And
love that in Willow's journey as well. Like especially the early part of season 4 when she says, I think in the freshman, like in school, like knowledge was frowned upon, but at university, like people are going there like
Mhm.
for knowledge, and I think that's just like unlocked her kind of confidence.
Yeah, this is where she gets to shine, for sure.
Yeah,
and
Um,
if you compare her to like I keep thinking of episode 1, season 1, Willow in like the plaid dress
yeah,
and like being scared that Buffy even like approached her to say hello. The fact that someone could grow like that in almost like 4 years time, and even just like as an actress, the ability to change that way
yeah.
yeah,
is impressive.
yeah. Parker then turns on his charm, and he's giving her a detailed explanation about casual sex, how it can be amazing, Yeah, but he's, obviously trying to manipulate her. And, oh, and this is what I said. All of the lead up to his casual sex was not open and clear, and it was very, relationshipy talk, and yeah. Ugh, oh, he's just awful. He's awful.
Yeah.
And she's listening to him,
Mm-hmm.
which is concerning. Back at the bar, the guys are now definitely cavemen, and
Full on.
they're perched on their chairs and grunting. It was kind of like, and then Xander is still kind of just like watching from the back, like some bad porno movie where like all the action is happening in the bar, and there's just some rando guy that's just standing in the corner, like, hmm.
Watching.
Let's see, the smarmy dude goes to the restroom, and he totally, like, his whole appearance changes. He transforms into Cro-Magnon guy,
Full on. Yep.
full
Yep.
on awful makeup. And the other guys are with it enough to say, no, we need to get out of here. Let's go. But then they transform as well. Too late.
When they threw the stack of money at Xander, it made me a little sad because it's the old style of $20 bills. All our
Oh,
money changed in, like,
God.
I guess that started like late 2000s, early 2010s, and I'm looking at it like, oh, I remember those. But yeah,
oh.
good for Xander for taking advantage.
That's
I
right.
love that line from Xander when he's like, "This is so the right amount." And then the other thing that I really picked up on was the fact that the cost of their night out for that group was $38.
That was a long time ago.
I know. I was
And
like,
it
you
was
could
cheap
lucky if you could
college
get
beer.
two drinks.
I remember going to
Um,
a college bar back in the day and getting, it was like quarter pitcher night or something,
mhm.
25-cent pitcher night. And I was with Drew,
No,
my husband, when we were way back in the day when we were just friends. And I was with another friend, and they were like, put lime in it, it'll taste better. I was like, they don't have enough lime in this bar. I mean, I was squeezing in like halves of limes. So maybe this was like quarter beer night.
that's what I call an Irish cocktail, which is when you have like a beer and you put some lime cordial
Oh,
into it.
cordial. Ah.
Yes, any flavor cordial in beer, so even like blackcurrant cordial, like so it will transform a beer for you.
That's what you got to do.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Melanie, next time I'm up there.
We're gonna do lime cordial. I don't even know if we can
Yeah,
get lime cordial here.
I'll get it here
All
before
right,
I
we
drive up.
find it. All right.
You'll probably get it in any liquor store because I think people use it a lot for cocktail making.
Okay. All right. We're gonna look. Okay. So then the cavemen are on campus, making a mess on campus.
Xander scared him off with his lighter.
He did.
Yeah, I
That's
love that.
right. Fire bad. We find out that it was Jack, the owner of the bar, because
They
Xander
had it
tells them, and
coming.
he's like, they had it coming. Which I'm like, hey,
Drinking their
these are your patrons.
I mean, I'm not agreeing with what he did, but I'm sure, serving college students has to get old at some point.
I mean, he's going to drive himself out of business,
Yeah.
but he does say it'll wear off in a day or two.
A lot could happen in a day when you're a caveman.
That is true.
Yeah,
He was talking about how they're always looking down on the working man, those college kids.
Yeah. Drinking their fruity little
Yeah,
microbrews.
he's so casual. He's like, my brother is a warlock, and he showed me how to do it.
yeah,
Just like,
yeah. I love that.
yeah, my brother's a banker, and my brother's a warlock.
Gotta love Sunnydale.
I know. The
I
kid,
did love Xander's kind of like moral compass here because there was definitely like a reflection, I think, of the way Xander's been treated, and I think that even in the previously on, that's why they mentioned him being a townie
yeah,
as well. I think there's that reflection that even though Xander would probably be quite happy to see this happen as well, he's because Buffy's involved, he's completely not.
yeah,
But I quite like that they established that Xander still has that kind of moral compass.
yeah. Next, the cavemen are out on the town. They're looking at the cars, and then one of them gets hit by a car. The driver runs away, and they beat up the car. They chase a couple girls that they smelled. The poor injured guy, they just leave him there. It's just mass
Great.
hysteria. It's crazy.
Yeah. Xander has gotten Giles, and they go to Buffy's dorm, and she's not full on Cro-Magnon, but
So
she got
yeah,
the hair.
okay. So how come Buffy gets to stay pretty? Like her hair is a little mussed, maybe. Like
Maybe she didn't drink as much as the other ones. Yeah, maybe they were drinking for like a few days, and she just jumped in like 2 days ago.
maybe Sarah Michelle Gellar had a clause in her contract.
I will not
She
go
said,
Yeah.
full
"I'm sorry, this is WB/CW, and I am not going to be looking like a Cro-Magnon woman specifically." um,
She was making cave paintings on the wall, though.
she's Parker bad.
Yeah, I love that.
Finally, she sees it. She had to dumb down a little to see it,
Yep.
to not
Yeah.
overthink things.
Hmm.
Willow and Parker have now moved to the sofas, and they're really getting into it. They're having a deep conversation.
And this is when I texted you, Melanie, like 2 hours ago as I
Yep.
was finishing up the episode. I'm like, I hope she's not falling
Yep.
for it,
Yep.
because the look on her face, she was good. I
She
really
was
thought she was
really
buying.
good.
Like I remembered enough to know that she didn't do anything with Parker, but thankfully, she ended up like, how gullible do you think I am? And told them off.
Yeah, that was great. Because I was doing the same thing, Sean, at that scene. I was like, oh no, he's playing her and she's vulnerable because of Oz. And oh my God, is she going to do it with him? Oh no. Oh, and then I loved it. I loved it when she was like, "You men haven't changed a bit."
Yeah.
It's a dot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like it when they set up like the big fight with a line like that, where they just say one
Yeah.
random thing and then the monsters
Yeah, yeah,
attack.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then we're back in Buffy's room and she want beer. Want beer. And she escapes the room. Xander and Giles have to find her. Then we see the cavemen are building a fire in that little right there back in that little building. That's where they are.
Hmm.
Did
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
notice the curtains or the pillars or whatever very Flintstones pattern on the?
Oh,
Did
I
you
did
notice
not
that?
notice.
I'm gonna send you a
No.
picture. I took screenshots because I was like, "Oh,
Okay.
they set this up nicely."
I'll put that in.
Yeah.
Okay.
The fire is definitely getting out of control.
Hmm. Buffy sees it,
Hmm.
and she says fire bad. And I don't know if this is intentional, but at the end of season 3, like when they blew up the school and everything, and Giles is like giving her a speech, and she just looks at him and says, "Fire bad, tree pretty."
Oh,
So I
Yeah.
don't know if that was intentional, the
yeah.
fire bad reference again. But even though she's, going Cro-Magnon, she's still the Slayer and
Hmm.
goes to rescue him.
Hmm.
And she runs in. She grabs a fire extinguisher.
So funny.
I love that. I
So,
love that part.
Melanie, I'm assuming you remember from when you and I worked at the hospital,
Yes.
operating a fire extinguisher is, it requires some dexterity. You got, do you remember the
Pass.
PASS acronym?
Pull. Aim.
Pull.
Squeeze. Sweep.
Yeah. So as she's holding it, like, she's not going to do that. And she just chucks the
She
fire
didn't know
extinguisher.
pass. No, no, no. Yeah, she just threw it right into the fire. That was funny. But then she sees Willow unconscious on the floor. Um, and then let's see, Xander comes in. He can't do much. Where's Giles? Giles is back at the dorm, showing people pictures and asking them where he has no clue where the action is.
I love
Buffy,
his little line when he's trying to describe if they've seen Buffy, and he's like about this high, like walks with a sideways limp.
oh my gosh. Then Buffy uses her Slayer gymnastics. She still has the
Mhm.
Slayer gymnastics even in cave person form.
Yeah.
Jumps up to the window, breaks the window. Everybody gets out, except for Parker. Parker is unconscious in the fire, so she finds him and knocks him out with a stick, which I loved.
Yeah.
um, then she did, but so she rescues him though. She gets him out of there,
Yeah.
right? And then he does say the things that she wants to hear.
And ends it with, "Can you forgive me?"
Yes,
And
she comes
bonks him
to him.
again. Knocks him out.
Awesome.
and then the whole group is just looking down at him, knocked out, and that's how it ends.
That was kind of a good way to do it. Like, you wanted her to give him physical violence in some form. It's what he deserves, but in a comedic way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty good.
I think the smile on Willow's face as well in that last scene where they're all looking over him and she's just like smiling at him.
Yes.
It's brilliant.
Yep. So now it'll be interesting to see if we see Parker again. Or was that the end of Parker? I hope that's the end of Parker.
All right. How many stakes would you give this episode, Melanie?
I give this one 3.25.
Okay. Tony?
I'm going to give it a solid 4.
Ooh.
All right. I'm going with 3.5.
All right. Nice.
Going in, like I would have said, I was a 2 going in.
Really?
Yeah. I'm the same, actually. I initially would have, like, I would have done exactly the same, but there was something about on the rewatch, and maybe it is the nostalgia factor where it's just like watching older things that are a bit silly in a time where TV is so serious and well done. I think there's just something refreshing about it.
Yeah.
Like going in, this was on the same level to me as like the Pack and the Zeppo, and
Wow.
it has elevated.
Oh, yeah. This is definitely better
Yeah.
than those two. Yeah.
It's funny, Sean, because those are two other ones that I wouldn't have thought I enjoyed as much, but that absolutely loved. On especially the Zeppo, like rewatching the Zeppo, I'm just like my opinion of it is completely changed.
Okay. Yeah, the Pack grew on me, but yeah,
Right, Flutie.
yeah, but the Flutie, Herbert, it wasn't as bad as I remembered, but I don't know what it is about the Zeppo. I just can't do it. Can't do
It's
it.
not your jam.
It's not. All right. Next, we have season 4, episode 6, Wild at Heart. What's going on in that episode, Melanie?
Okay, so we saw stuff going on between Oz and Willow this episode that I did not like. I think that's the heart part.
Okay.
And I think the wild part has to do with Oz and his werewolfness. So maybe he's attracted to that singer because she's also a werewolf.
Mm.
So, and that something's going to happen between them that's going to hurt Willow's heart. I don't like saying any of that.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Imagine like you're so off base and it's like people's hearts are exploding out of their body and just like attacking people.
It could be. It could be. It could be like somehow like a little aliens show up and they're shaped like hearts and they they go wild around the town. I don't know.
Maybe we should do that going forward. Like we'll get your real prediction and then what is the complete ridiculous prediction?
All right, I like it. Sometimes they're the same.
All right. Tony, if people want to find out more about you and your podcast, how can they do that?
You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram, TikTok. It's all the same at Up the Buff Pod. And you can give us a wee like and follow. Just before we go, can I just give you a random tidbit about this episode that I found fascinating?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
This episode was nominated for a Primetime Emmy for hairstyling.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Which I'm just like,
hair. For her must hair.
Yeah.
It took some styling to get her hair to look that bad.
How would you even describe that hair, Melanie? I mean, it's must, but like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, a must up shaggy.
Yeah, it's like a college girl who spent the summer in Thailand and she's come back with a new perspective on things, and it's like half dreadlock, and she wears those really like baggy, colorful like yoga pants like that.
And she smells like patchouli. You got like the what do they call those shells? The puka shell necklace.
Poop yourselves.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I like it exactly. You said it much
Uh,
better than I did.
Melanie, speaking of mussed up
Yeah.
hair, you had a hair related incident
Oh
this
my gosh,
week.
I did have a hair related incident this weekend. So, it was cold here this weekend or this week, and we were out. I was out with my in laws, and there was one of those like a outdoor heater thing, like a space heater thing. Um, and it was like glass panels, and then the fire went up inside the glass panels, and I was really cold, so was standing next to it, and then I stood with my back to it, and then we got in the car, and I was like, "What is that smell? It smells so bad. It's like tar or I don't know what." Oh, it was my hair. My hair had caught on fire from this heater and was just burning, like singeing the back of my
yeah. Okay.
head. That's what I was smelling. And so I didn't even know until we had made our next stop and we were standing there and my nephew goes, "Oh, Mel, you have something on the back of your head. It's like stuff on the back of your head." And I go like this and I could smell that smell again. And
Oh
so
my
then I
god.
turn and my sister-in-law's like, "Oh my god, your hair is burned." And my hair, like the tips of my hair were all orange and brittle and stuff. And then when we went to get back in the car, there was like little singed bits of my hair all over the car seat.
Oh.
I know. I got home, I washed my hair twice. I could still smell it. I can't see any more spots now. I think I got all the damaged bits out, but I think the next time I go to get my hair cut, my stylist is going to be like, "What is going on with your hair?"
Damn.
Oh.
How could you not know your hair is on fire?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question.
Oh, this is my life. I lived through it, you
Melanie,
guys. It's okay.
Melanie, you want to tell them about our socials?
Same as Tony's. We are pretty much everywhere you can find streaming. We are at the Sunnydale Diaries everywhere except for X and Snapchat. We have an email, the Sunnydale Diaries at gmail.com. We have a web page, thesunnydalediaries.com, where you can find our episodes. You can get into our Discord server. You can still get a PDF copy of our 2025 Jenny calendar.
I just
And
downloaded it today.
yeah, drop us a line if you have comments, anecdotes, something you want to share. We're happy to hear from you. And I think that's it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will be back next time. That'll be Monday, April 7th with Wild at Heart.
Yay.
Tony, thanks again
Well,
for
thank you guys
coming
so
on.
much for
Thanks,
having me. That was
Tony.
been a real pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sure. All right.
That's
So
it.
we'll see you next
All right.
time.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
See you later.